Hello everyone, welcome back to Blacksmith Studios. My name is Jack and today we will be talking about Ultron's return into the MCU, and he will once again be voiced by James Spader from Avengers Age of Ultron. Now this is very exciting to me because Ultron was a very cool character for me. I properly got into Marvel around 2014 when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, so when Age of Ultron came out, that was a big deal for me because I'd watched the movies before, but my obsessiveness came about when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and then Age of Ultron came out, and it's like in between that gap, I researched the hell out of Marvel, and as soon as Ultron was like introduced, I was like, oh my god, it's Ultron. So this is the sort of era where I became from, being a Marvel fan to being a Marvel obsessive fan. And Ultron is such a cool character in the MCU. We only got to see him once, unfortunately, as well as obviously in the What If series. But it's exciting to see that it's James Spader's version that is coming back. Now, they will be returning in Vision Quest. Vision Quest, of course, will be about the White Vision that we saw at the end of WandaVision, who was given the memories of the original Vision. So it's very interesting to see how their stories intertwine, but we obviously all know that they have this connection. So this was reported by Daniel RPK, who is fairly reliable, but please take with a grain of salt. And of course, we've had some rumors since. I've actually recorded this video before, but I've had to redo it because a lot more news has come out. So, in terms of Ultron's return, it's going to be a major role, possibly even the main villain role of the series. And, that's very exciting to think about. A part of me was thinking, it could be like a minor role, it could be like a little cameo. No, this is a major, major role. So, here's what I think. Vision from WandaVision gave White Vision all of his memories. And so from that point, I can imagine that Ultron or some piece of Ultron was reawakened in White Vision, because if you think about it that way, Ultron did start to download himself into that original Vision's body. So it doesn't seem too out of the question for Ultron to have a bit of code within White Vision, which may have been reawakened. So it could be that we see both Ultron and White Vision sharing the same body and arguing with each other. Another concept could be that White Vision is trying to figure out where he comes from, because obviously he has all his memories, but he doesn't really know who he is. And it could be that philosophical question of, is he the true Vision? Is the true Vision still alive? And I would go around and say that the original Vision was killed in Infinity War, and it's simply that the body is sort of left as a husk, replaced with sort of not new memories, but a new sort of algorithm, a new code. And then, of course, Wanda's vision for WandaVision, that is more of a replication of Wanda's perception of Vision. So then White Vision, it's going to get confusing this, White Vision would be the original body remade, fixed up, but not have his memories, and instead the memories of White Vision come from Wanda's perception of Vision. So realistically, White Vision wouldn't have all of his memories. He would have the amount of memories as Wanda recalls in that sense. It could be very simplified and Marvel could just go, he's got all Vision's memories, he's basically Vision. But I just don't know. But I can imagine Vision Quest is about Vision trying to find his place in the world. And of course, there are even rumors that are coming out that he will have some sort of connection with the Young Avengers and West Coast Avengers. Now, with those connections, I would like to say White Vision's connections to those teams. I think as a Young Avengers, he could start the Young Avengers within the Vision Quest series, and he could have, there's rumors that his children will be in it. I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but one of them is Vin, I think. But they could be introduced into the Vision Quest series. Vision could try and have a normal life, and then Vin appears, and so and he has kids, and maybe makes them himself. And then the threat of Ultron comes along, and Vision ends up trying to form the Young Avengers and maybe join as like a West Coast Avengers as well. I'm not 100%. So this series is going to have some sort of connection. So I'm going to come up with my main thoughts on what's going to happen. So I think in the Vision Quest series, Vision's going to try and discover who he is, as I say, because he's not going to be a complete being. He's going to be lost. His memories are going to be fragmented and confused on what is real and what isn't real. So he's going to try and, as a being of logic, he's going to try and figure out what's going on. In the process, he could then make a wife, maybe like a replication of Wanda, and 2 children of his own, a replication of Bill and Tommy. In this process, Vision could reawaken Ultron, or discover that Ultron is still alive and deep within his code, and Ultron finds a way to escape. Because of that, Ultron then becomes the big villain. So we could see that Vision could be trying to essentially track down Ultron, figure out what he's after, and then it could be a cool little battle at the end. It could be very simple, the show. I can see it being a very, very small 6-episode show, but it would have Ultron be defeated, or air quotes, defeated at the end. With White Vision then going on to join the West Coast Avengers. We could then have a sort of similar vibe to WandaVision, with his kids and maybe his wife being destroyed or defeated or even taken by Ultron. I believe that Ultron is not done here, and this is where the video sort of, this is why I made this video. I hope Ultron does not stay as just a villain for this Vision Quest series. I think the Age of Ultron title really needs to come about when Avengers 2 came out, because it wasn't really the Age of Ultron, it was the possible beginning of the age. And I think having Ultron be a recurring threat into the MCU would be a really good way of doing it, especially since he knows that Vision is essentially his kryptonite. Vision could just wipe him from the internet and then kill him, and then he's got no bodies left, and then he's gone. So this is where I sort of think Vision could then go off to become a West Coast Avenger, and that could be leading into, because there's some sort of connection with Wonder Man as well. I can see Vision starting his own West Coast Avengers with like War Machine or Wonder Man and Ant-Man and Wasp and She-Hulk joining with the new Avengers to face Doom in Doomsday. But in terms of the Young Avengers side of things, I think this could be a really good opportunity for Ultron to return later on in a Young Avengers project. And Ultron as a threat to Young Avengers really gives Next Avengers Heroes of Tomorrow, if anyone's seen that animated series, gives that sort of vibe with Ultron facing the sort of Young Avengers. So yeah, that's where I hope Ultron sort of ends up in the MCU. How he returns, I think it's all embedded in White Vision's code. How big of a threat he's going to be, well, I do think he's going to be the main villain, but what he's after, I don't know. Whether he's trying to continue his whole thing of, trying to destroy the world the same way he did before, I can assume that's it, but how Vision is going to stop him and how the other Avengers aren't going to be, known to this, how they aren't going to find out about this, I'll never know. But it could be that at the end of the series, Ultron goes missing and Vision forms the West Coast Avengers to face Ultron. I just don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Ultron was actually the purpose behind the Doom bots in Doomsday. That would be really cool if Ultron sort of created the Doom bots for Doctor Doom. And I wouldn't be surprised if he became a nihilist at one point. That would be a really cool storyline. A lot of people thought that he was going to return in Avengers 4 before we knew about Endgame and Thanos. So I think there are so many options for Ultron, but I think the way that Marvel will try and go is heading more towards Ultron being the villain for a Young Avengers project. And then Vision would go off and join the West Coast Avengers. But yes, that's essentially it. Let me know what you think about Ultron's return, how excited you are, and let me know where you think he might end up in the MCU. Do you think this is a one and done, or do you think he will appear in other MCU projects? I kind of hope he's in the MCU even past Secret Wars, to be honest. But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.